Hello guys, this is Brian here with a Obamacare video. I guess a revelation video. I don't know. I should call it a disaster discovery. I don't know what I should really call it, but I found something that nobody's gonna be lacking. What's gonna happen end of next year? Because what you think about keeping your plan year to year is not true. If you want to know what's hanging on my or laying over my printer back there is my binder. I had to take it off because it was just too tight and it was swollen today. For those who don't know, in my previous video, I explained that I can't keep my employer coverage because it's just too expensive. And then next year, April's our open enrollment period. I think, yeah, it is April. They don't know if they're going to keep it or not because they did kind of hint around that our premiums were either double or triple. Currently, I pay $288. It is a large employer plan for 150 employees or more. That's what they call it here in Texas. Is what they call a large employer plan. And our plan did meet the Affordable Care Act standards because it was not grandfathered in. So it was a non-grandfathered plan. And usually the way you could tell, it's either the little captions below in the policy book pages, like around schedule coverage and things like that. Ours said non-grandfathered plan. So our plan did meet that. Usually, either your premiums go on double or your deductible out-of-pocket expenses will go sky high. So, you know, they kind of weigh their options. So, right now, on my group plan, I had $1,000 deductible. So, I bet you $5. Either they're going to raise it up to $3,000 or $4,000 to get the premiums lower, or keep it and jack up the premiums anyway. Well, I knew about this, and employer has been sending out hundreds of memos and letters since October. So I really decided to go ahead and get on healthcare.gov since October because due to my income, I knew I did qualify for some kind of premium assistance, which makes your premium lower. So around Thanksgiving, I was able to get it to work, and I did enroll into a plan. Thankfully, and thank God, it's with Blue Cross Blue Shield, the one I had group coverage through. So I do get to keep all my doctors, so that part is true. But, you know, they also offer Aetna through the exchange and Cigna. Well, Aetna's plan looked pretty good for $160. Their copays were extremely low. Emergency room copays $100. Office visit was $5, and specialist was $10. And prescription drug copays. I mean, their copays were good, and I think it was $175 out of deductible for the whole plan, and I think $1,000 out of pocket maximum. And you heard about me calling Aetna about that, but also the problem with Aetna was my doctor wasn't in network. They don't accept Aetna. Aetna's a large insurance company here in Texas and pretty much throughout the United States. But the specialist, I mean, I could find a whole bunch of family practitioner doctors, but the specialist in network sucks. I'm not going to drive 30 miles to go see a GI doctor, where here in Rockwell or the DFW area, there's hundreds of them. So I see a GI doctor at least once or twice a year to make sure my heartburn or GERD or whatever you call it's okay. My family doctor's kind of be treating me without going to the GI doctor because he writes the prescriptions. My family doctor's well flexible about that. I used to take 2 Dexlant per day, and now I'm down to 1. Anyways, I mean, and then Cigna plan, well, yeah, it looks okay on paper, but you look into it and all these holes and deductibles, and I mean, for instance, their hospitalization was $2,000 per day copay. Well, what's the purpose of having insurance of $2,000? I mean, for instance, you're in the hospital for 7 days. That's $14,000 you have to pay. Well, why bother having insurance? I mean, it was just a whole bunch of deductibles, but the Aetna plan had no copays for hospitalization. It really looked the best. Well, I discovered Blue Cross at the bottom of the sheet, and get this, they offer 2 exact same plans, but the name difference. One is Blue Cross Blue Solutions, which I enrolled as a multi-state plan, which is $10 cheaper, but the copay for office visits is $10 more. but the prescriptions are $10 cheaper than the standard Texas plan. Um, so I got my paperwork today in the mail. I got some other paperwork throughout the week and a week before, like the premium piece of paper to pay, and I called them and pay that, and welcome kit and things like that. Well, I noticed I really didn't pay attention until I noticed today, and thankfully I did look at my ID card they sent me, because it's like I said, Obamacare starts on January the 14th, January the 1st. Well, they misspelled my last name. It's missing the I, and I really didn't pay attention to it until today. So I called them, and while I was on hold for 2 hours after work, I'm going to show you this because this is what they sent me. It says coverage period is between January 1st, 2014 through December 31st. Well, I qualified for the premium assistance, which brings down the premium to $83. Also, due to my income, I qualify for the cost sharing reduction, 94%. Well, I noticed that it says it's only through December 31st. And I was kind of doing some research on the internet, and it turned out you can't keep the plan more than 1 year. You have to re-enroll every single year, because if you qualify for those two things, well, people's income, it does not stay the same year to year. It fluctuates. I mean, it could, I noticed that my income can fluctuate between, I would say, maybe $3,000 to $5,000 year to year, depending. I mean, depending on how many sick days you took or vacation without being paid, or how many hours that you work, or if your employer kind of reduced your work hours like they did this year. So, your income fluctuates year to year. It's never exactly the same unless you're salaried. So that's what it says here, and I show you. So, each year, I called Blue Cross Blue Shield and asked them about this when I told them about my name being misspelled. And they say every year you have to go back on healthcare.gov and re-enroll into the plan. But based on your income, you may not qualify for that plan year to year. So your plan will change year to year. Now, how stupid is that? Never heard of such thing. I'll show you the name of the plan if anybody here in Texas want to know. It's the Blue Cross Blue Shield Solutions 3 Multi-State Plan. And zero deductible, $500 max out of pocket. And also, I caught them on another big problem I found is they also emailed me this information, and I never really got around opening the attachment because I thought it was really junk mail. So and she said, we also emailed this to you. Well, I found a discrepancy. They sent me the exact same piece of paper, which is what they call a summary of benefits. They say they will be sending the actual policy book, which is the contract in insurance language, out to me. So I should be receiving that next week. But on the back of here, the email one's different. But exactly the same thing, except this one a little minor detail. It says if you have a test like an imaging, CT, PET, or MRI, it's 20% coinsurance. Now I'll show you this. That's what it says. Now the email one they sent me, because I went online on Blue Cross to register online account, so you can view your claims online. But that's what the paperwork suggests to do, because you can also pay online at Blue Cross's website. So I guess when I registered, at some point in time, it automatically emailed me, and I never really got around to opening it. The one they emailed me is exactly the same PDF, the same exact information, but that little detail about the MRIs and PET scans and everything says not 20% coinsurance, just a $30 copay. And I asked them about that. Well, which is it? You can't be both. You can't send two different things out to people. And she really didn't want to answer that question. And she put me on hold for a long time. I said, I want to speak to a supervisor. What is the truth? Is it 20% coinsurance, which it most likely it is, because those things are very expensive, or is it $30 copay like the one y'all sent me? And she put me on hold, and I just got frustrated. I just hung up. I'm not going to sit there on hold for another hour. But you know what? I don't have this problem with on the group line, because the telephone numbers are different from the group line, which we have. I long time ago I used to have Blue Cross Blue Shield as an individual plan, and they always been great too. But I never heard of a plan that constantly changes year to year based on your income and all that. So that's another disaster that's fixing to happen. You think you have to keep your plan after all after you enroll to Obamacare, but when it comes around December 2014, guess what? You have to re-enroll to another plan to see if what you qualify for because your income changes. And you can also play around on Blue Cross. I don't know other states, other Blue Crosses in other states do this, but I went on there and told them I didn't that I made a whole bunch of money, like $100,000, which I don't. But I told them that I did not want to consider the premium tax credit thing, where we call it. I said no, and the plans are extremely high dollar, $400 or $500. Nobody has that kind of money. So, I'm telling you, folks, this disaster, what's fixing to happen, is not going to be over yet at the end of the year. Y'all, people think, oh, finally, at the end of 2014. But guess what? We're going to be in another boat because, if your income changes, you can't qualify for the cost sharing reduction plans or the premium adjustment, which, that I get. Insurance companies do raise their rates every single year anyway, so that's okay. But people like me who's low income and qualifies for the cost sharing reduction plan, if we make any more money next year, we get kicked off that plan and have to choose another plan that costs more money, more copays, and all that. So it's not a very good situation, folks. The only two things I like about Obamacare is that nobody can't be denied insurance, which that was a bad problem from word get-go. So no denied pre-existing conditions any longer. And at least some people makes $45,000 or less do get some help on the premiums. That's the only two things I like about Obamacare. Other than that, I think it's a disaster. It's messing with people's health. I just like in the Dallas Morning News, I was reading that these people who has a sick child that has a, very terminally ill child, well, their employer canceled their health insurance and they can't find a plan that their doctor's in network, so they can't have any more surgery for the child unless they pay out of pocket. Now, you can get away with going to their family doctor to pay cash, but you can't pay cash to a surgeon. People have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars laying around. I surely don't. Nowadays, doctors want money up front most of the time. They want your copay when you go there at the time and all that. But, it's just a looming disaster what's fixing to happen. This is already a disaster as it is, but when it comes in the next year, this is going to be another disaster because people think they can keep the plan. Guess what? That may not be true at all. And also, people was worried about how President Obama wants to do a single-payer system, which here in the United States, for those in Canada, we have private insurance companies. So therefore, a doctor can accept 5 different, for instance, I'm just using an example, which they more likely may be wrong, but for instance, a family doctor can accept 5 different health insurance companies. They all will pay 5 different rates. So if you have one single payer system, that doctor cannot make money. Because we all know Medicaid and Medicare do not pay with a flip. So therefore, people with Blue Cross can, doctor who accepts Blue Cross can make some money. The doctor who takes Aetna can make some money. So they can all charge different rates for the exact same service. And doctors want that, and, it's competition throughout the insurance company. And this is what I really don't get about Obamacare. I just don't get how the insurance companies did not fight this tooth and nail with all the money that they have. But like I said, 2 things are good for this law is no more pre-existing conditions, denials for people who are sick. Because my weight prior to gastric bypass, they deny me in the New York Minute. I'm telling you the truth. If you overweight, they will deny you, just like that, or just won't cover you at all for most of the services. for an individual market, and also if you go get a job and try and get on the health plan, you may not get that job because they look at a heavy person and say, oh my, well, we don't want them on our insurance rolls because we don't want our premiums to go up because that person is overweight and that costs a lot of money. So that happens in the workplace as well, lots of times. So if you ever go on the job interview, never talk about your health problems at all. Um, you're not supposed to be doing that anyway, but regardless. But I thought I'd share this with you because that's another discovery I found out today. Like I said, you think you can keep your plan out after you enroll in Obamacare year to year. That may not be the truth for people who qualifies for the Premium Assistance Program. Um, Please share your comments below, and also any Canadians who watch me, please share how your healthcare system works. The way somebody told me it's just a single payer system up there, um, but here in the United States, the system was broken. Yeah, it was broken, but we liked it. we liked the private competition. But the only thing I didn't like about it is the denial of pre-existing conditions and the way that you can just jack up your premiums after you get sick or something. In the individual market, they can raise and up to the sky. Usually in the group, they can't cherry pick you. Here in Texas, they can't. So in Texas, if you're on a group rate, and they're gonna raise a person's, they can't raise a specific person's premium. They have to raise the whole entire group. Usually, extremely large corporations like AT&T, General Electric, or government agency, or Coca-Cola, Pepsi, usually those extremely large corporations, they usually have more say and more negotiable than mid-sized employers, because that's millions and millions of dollars in health insurance that they pay for insurance companies, and sometimes they're self-funded, and that's a different story. But usually those giant corporations can have a say so how fat they don't want to take they don't, an insurance company don't want to lose that kind of money because that's lots of money. But like I said, please share your comments or do kind of video responses on this. Like I'm gonna say this again for the third time. The only thing I like about the Affordable Care Act is you can't be denied for a pre-existing condition, so it does cover all the sick people, because that's the important thing. And at least if you make less than $45,000, at least you kind of get some premium assistance on that front. But this is turning into a disaster because all the insurance companies are putting all these deductibles and holes and everything, and copays higher. If I didn't qualify for a premium and cost sharing reduction, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I guess I could have the same kind of insurance plan and pay $300 a month, I guess. I don't know. But I will talk to y'all later, and if I find out any more disasters, I'll let y'all know. But I thought this was important to let y'all know about that. Just so at the end of the year next year, keep your eye out and call your insurance company if you enroll in Obamacare and see if you get to keep it based on your income, because it fluctuates between your income. Another thing, I just can't believe all those questions that the healthcare.gov asked. One thing I found out was it was surprisingly that United Healthcare is not participating in any exchanges at all. Or here in Texas, they're not. I don't know other places. That's another large health insurance company here in Texas, is United, and their plans are expensive anyway. But I'll talk to you later, and like I said, post any responses to this, and talk to you.